Hello, my name is Megan, and I'm on the board for Indy VegFest here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to, on behalf of Indy VegFest board, talk about how we hosted our virtual Indy VegFest. Of course, unfortunately, our physical event was scheduled for March, and we had to cancel it. So we kind of had to spring into action and figure out how to continue engaging with our community and how to put an event on online. So I'll talk to you today about what we did, what we thought worked, and what we would kind of do differently in the future. So our Indy VegFest virtual event, we decided to just use the Facebook event that we already had. So we were concerned, we talked about having like a Zoom webinar or GoToMeeting or something like that, but our concern was that we didn't want to have to move our audience to a virtual location that they maybe were unfamiliar with or would have to download, things for. So we already had a Facebook event that had a good amount of engagement from people who are planning on attending the physical event, and we decided to just use that, wherever your audience is already. If you can hold on to that, do, because it's harder to move an audience than it is to engage with an audience in a place where they already are. If possible. So we just took that Facebook event that people had already RSVP'd to for the physical event, and we updated the details and turned it into our virtual event and tried to spell out very clearly, what it was going to be like. We maintained the same day and time for our event so that people who had already planned on joining us in person could join us virtually without a schedule change. So one thing that we did as far as the visitor experience on that Facebook event page to create this kind of fun approximation, virtual approximation of our in-person event, is we wanted to focus a lot on, user experience and live videos and making everything visual. The kinds of things that people love to do when they're at VegFest: meet new people, learn about vendors, watch speakers. So we decided to lean heavily on this concept of live videos. So we reached out to our speakers who had already blocked their time off for VegFest and asked them if they'd be willing to do a live video instead. And then we tried our best to share with them how they could do that technically. So we focused a lot on live videos. We also contacted our vendors and invited them to post in the event page. And what I think our vendors did a really awesome job at is making their posts visual and engaging. So if you look at some of the posts here, people come to Indy VegFest to see what the vendors are doing and to see what they have to offer and to eat their food. So we wanted to kind of recreate that concept here, and our vendors did a really great job of posting some engaging content and interacting with people. You'll see here in the center, one of our vendors even took orders for cupcakes right on the event page. So vendor posts were a big part of our event. And then we also wanted to make sure that Indy VegFest itself had a presence at the event. We didn't want to just be the hosts, we wanted to be involved in it. And so we created polls and questions throughout the day to engage our audience and have them answer questions for us and just participate in fun things like, if you're wearing a VegFest t-shirt or a vegan t-shirt from a past event, post it here, that kind of stuff. So we wanted to show that the event was really meant to be an engaging experience for everybody. We didn't want it to just be people talking at you in videos or people posting at you in posts. We wanted the audience to be able to ask questions, and the people in the video would answer them or the vendors would answer them. So we tried to just make it as kind of engaging as possible and really encourage people to contribute to the videos, to the posts, to our questions. So what worked well at this event? We were just really happy that we went for it. It was really tough canceling our event. We did not have a lot of time to figure out if we even wanted to make a virtual event, much less plan it. I think there was some concern that it would maybe not go smoothly or it wouldn't be that amazing, but we did it anyway, and we're so glad that we did. And yeah, it wasn't perfect. People got lost, people got confused. They understood that this was our first time doing this virtually, that it was their first time attending virtually, and that there would be hiccups, and they were just absolutely gracious with us. And we were just so glad that we did something rather than nothing. Using our existing event page, we thought really helped a lot because our audience was already there. We did reach out to our audiences on other channels. So we had, for example, an Eventbrite page for the event. We emailed everybody who had claimed tickets there to let them know about the Facebook event. So anywhere we thought our audience might be that we had already invited them to physical VegFest, we invited them to virtual VegFest. But we did have a huge number of people already on Facebook. So I think using our existing Facebook page really helped us to maintain our audience and spread the word that we were going to be virtual this year. Being prepared helped a lot. I'll get into this later. We weren't as prepared, I think, as we wish we were. That's how it always goes with, short time frames. But we did send and go over instructions with our vendors and presenters. So we took the time to kind of explain to participants who were going to be broadcasting anything, whether it was through posts or videos, how that worked and kind of what the expectation was and why we were doing it on a certain day and what we thought they could get out of it, that kind of stuff. So that helped. Another thing that we did is we emailed all of our vendors a survey before the event and asked them, what can our audience do? How can people still connect with you? People were looking forward to connecting with you at our physical event. How can they support you during social distancing and still connect with you? And then we published those answers on our website, which meant anytime we had a question in the event, like, hey, I was hoping to meet this vendor, how do I do that? We had answers to those questions. So that helped a lot. I think just staying active, we had a whole team of volunteers signed in with Indy VegFest posting permissions who were able to respond to questions and comments as Indy VegFest. So I think that helped a lot. So just staying active and having lots of coverage to watch the event page and make sure all questions get answered, things like that. We did start the day off. Our first presentation was a sanctuary tour. I think that helped a lot. That is the kind of thing that you can't actually have at your physical location. And so it, I think, really expressed kind of the benefit of having a virtual event, and you got something that you weren't going to get at regular VegFest. It also kind of set the tone for how the rest of the videos were going to be so that people kind of understood the concept of a Facebook Live video. It was a great icebreaker, really fantastic and uplifting thing to see as our first video. And again, just engaging with visitors. When you post as a page account, you also see the person behind it. So having multiple people signed in as Indy VegFest, wasn't a concern for us because people could tell which of us they were talking to still. We weren't afraid to engage with our Facebook Live speakers by asking questions, engage with our audience, and I would just highly recommend liberal use of the like button and the other responses, just to let people who are commenting and asking questions know that they've been heard, that we see you, that kind of thing. Just liberal use of the like button. And then last but not least, learn from your event. One of our board members, Colleen, shout out to Colleen, went through the comments on the event page afterward to create a learning document about our audience. So for example, during the event, we asked non-vegans, what's your greatest barrier to going vegan? And we learned a ton from that conversation. She went through and pulled out all the themes and reasons why people here in Indianapolis are struggling to go vegan, which gives us ideas for how to communicate, what to communicate with our audience, and how to continue our outreach efforts. So what would we do differently? Be prepared. Just be prepared for spam. Facebook has a ton of different moderation settings. I'm not sure we all kind of knew exactly what they were. I feel like we're used to running pages and events in the way we always do it. I would suggest just taking a look, if you are using Facebook for videos and things like that, take a look at the moderation systems and settings and choose settings and systems that work for you. A quick example would be that a few hours before the event started, somebody posted a spam link on our event page where if you clicked the URL, it went to what looked like a video website. So it looked like maybe our videos would be there, but eventually it would ask you to buy an account. So we immediately, of course, saw this and knew it wasn't something we wanted on our page and deleted it. But just be aware of what your settings are, and if those kinds of things might happen, make sure that you have the ability to moderate and ban as needed. we would only show one video at a time. So one thing that we did that I think worked really well is when there were videos, we would pin that video to the top of our page so that people could find it without having to scroll through all the other things that had been posted throughout the day. But when we had multiple videos at once, we would pin multiple videos and then it kind of became confusing. So we would prefer to just have one video at a time pinned to the top of our page, easy for everybody to find. We would also limit posts per vendor. You know, we gave our vendors instructions on how to post and some ideas on what to post, but we forgot to tell them how often they should post throughout the event and how many posts they should make. So some vendors kind of got more posts than others, and we would just prefer that it be equal for everybody. And then more speaker prep. You know, we set up some test events and did some testing on our end to make sure we all knew how to pin posts, how to moderate videos, that kind of stuff. But we would have preferred to get more of our speakers involved in that process with, you know, test videos and things like that. We didn't have time for it. If we had to do it again, we would make time for it. And one thing I will say here is for instructions, you know, to communicate with your speakers how to run these technologies, Zoom, Facebook, GoToMeeting, all of these organizations have tons and tons of help documents. So don't feel like you need to write instructions for everybody. Those instructions probably already exist, and you can save time by finding them and sharing those with your speakers and just familiarizing yourselves with them. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your interest in how we conducted our virtual VegFest. I wish you the best of luck in your own VegFests this year and taking those online if you need to. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, you just want to chat with us, obviously we're on Facebook, Indy VegFest. You can also contact us through indyvegfest.com. Again, my name is Megan. It's been a pleasure sharing with you how we were able to connect with our community, and wish you the best of luck.